my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA, an Orlando, Orange County-based Social Security disability law firm. Let's go ahead and begin with the question. Are there really any secrets or life hacks to getting disability benefits from the SSA? Okay, there's a lot of people out there who are making videos who are not attorneys. They're just, this is how I got my benefits sort of spiel. Their heart is in the right place. Do they know what they're doing? Almost always no. They have no clue what they're doing. Are they bragging? Are they, creating this I'm here and I'm amazing because scenario? Yeah, they're on their soapbox because they got something that other people can't get, or they got something that other people are still waiting to get, or they got something and they feel deep down inside that they cheated the system or worked the system or figured out a life hack to be able to get on the system better than other people. And they feel like this is their way to help others while still making themselves feel good egotistically. Is there any secret to getting on disability benefits? Yes. The secret is simple, and it's following the elements and basically showing how you meet the 5-step sequential process, or how you meet, equal, or exceed a listing, or how you fit inside a gridding. It's not simple. So many of you guys sit back and you go, oh, wow, I wish I could just da-da-da-da-da. My friend who plays basketball with me with back problems, he got it right away. He's going to go through a CDR and get kicked off right away too. Continuing disability review. He's not going to see disability benefits again. The guy working on another table playing the game, same gig. I get lots of calls from those people. Oh, I got kicked off. Why'd you get kicked off? I don't know. Were you working? Yeah. What were you doing? Do they have any footage of you doing that? I don't know. Did you post anything on YouTube or Facebook? Yeah. Look, guys, any potential gain that you could have in the system other than building the claim in the proper manner, if it does get you found disabled, you're going to get a CDR, and then they're going to give you an overpayment, and then you're going to owe the federal government's beautiful, wonderful, giant. Before I even go into that, let me explain where the money comes from. It's the United States National Treasury. That means you have money that you weren't supposed to receive from the United States Treasury. The IRS, whenever you think like, oh, I owe this person, I owe that person, I owe this person, those people don't exist. The one above all is the IRS, who will get the money to give to the Treasury, unless you go completely off grid, which it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Okay, maybe if you own an island somewhere in a foreign country, maybe then yeah, okay, go for it. But you wouldn't be in this situation if you owned an island in a foreign country. All right, so are there really any secrets or life hacks to getting disability benefits from the SSA? Let's go through the intro basic ones. Myth number 1, getting all of your medical evidence before applying for disability benefits will de facto get you found disabled. No, completely false. Bad rumors, not really good that's being promoted to people. Here's why. Throughout the initial filing process, they go ahead and buy your medical records anyways. And if you buy all of your records when you're filing, that doesn't mean 3 months from now. They'll go ahead and say, okay, well, we have all of it. They're going to say, well, where have you been since then? For those individuals who have been found disabled by getting all of your evidence, medical evidence ahead of time, it's because you met the severity requirements for being found disabled, not because you got the evidence early. Let me explain the difference because a lot of you guys get confused. When somebody is severely impaired within their regulation requirements, if you have the evidence to provide that you are a blind person who's actually blind and the Blind Institute said you are blind, then it doesn't matter if you provide the evidence up front or they buy it as part of the process. You are still severely impaired. If another person says that they are severely impaired, but they're not, and they buy the evidence ahead of time, guess what? It ain't going to make any difference. They're still going to have to go get the new stuff anyways. So is it really going to speed it up? Hardly any. That's the reality. And it could speed up a denial. That's the other side of the coin, which isn't a bad thing. You may just need more time on your claim to be able to show how you are severely impaired, have new medical documentation to provide for that reasoning. So that's pretty much life hack lie number one. Life hack, it's just not real. It's not going to do anything. It's not really going to help. Life hack number two. Remember, I'm just making these up as I talk to you. Life hack number two, the classic. Oh, I should have done this as number one. This is a classic, and I have a printout somewhere. I wanted to read to you what they actually do, so I'll kind of get that together. But I sent out a thing. Right, this is the claimant. I sent out a thing to my senator, my House of Representatives, my governor, my this, my that, my whatever. That gets logged into your file, right, where you bitch to a politician. That's what it is. You're bitching to a politician. And it gets logged in your file as a congressional review. And the congressional review is basically where the SSA says, okay, we will update this congressional person every so many 3 months or 6 months on the claim, what's going on. You guys don't realize yet that when they get, somebody calling in, it can actually slow down the processing of your claim, because instead of spending time on processing your paperwork for an adjudication or for a hearing at the OHO hearing office, they're spending time sending a response to the person you bitch to instead of working on your claim. And I know when you're sitting there, you're thinking, well, they're just working on my claim. They are working on millions of claims. Millions of claims. And not just disability. There's all kinds. There's retention of benefits. There's obtaining of benefits. There's recalculation of benefits. There's child claims. Those are just disability benefits. Then there's retirement benefits. There's spousal benefits. There's adult child disability benefits. There's all these different benefits they could potentially have to adjudicate throughout this process. So if you're sitting there going like, what do you mean they're not spending extra time on my claim? It's because they're working on zillions and zillions and zillions of claims. And no, you're not that special where you're the king and you go ahead and get extra time, yada yada. So, will a congressional review help? Sometimes it'll speed up the process, sometimes it'll slow it down, sometimes it does nothing at all. So that's another hoax of a life, trick or secret way of doing things. That's just another thing that's not realistic. So we did number one, we did number two, now we're going to do number three. Number three is the, what's another good one? Oh, the mental check one. Okay, so you know how a lot of you guys are like, my friend, she just went to, the mental health facility and she just kept going over and over and over and saying she's crazy, suicidal, she has voices in her head, yada, yada, yada. 2017, 2018, leading into the 2019 years, they changed the rules for the listing requirements for the 12.04 based and some of the 12.06 based mental requirements for depression, anxiety, the affective disorders and things like that, bipolar, mood disorder, etc. And they did this because people were gaming the system. Doesn't happen like it used to. So you have to have kind of a long-standing history of these mental impairments or a strong, shocking moment that occurred to go ahead and give you PTSD to an extreme, severe, or marked severe level to be able to go ahead and get on disability benefits for those mental impairments. So just going and saying, yada, 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 I have this, getting medication, then not taking the medication, playing that game, it doesn't work like it used to. It used to work. It worked in 2015, 2016 stuff. It doesn't work anymore, though. Sorry. Are there really any secrets or life hacks to getting disability benefits from the SSA? Now, to me, there's no secrets because I know what most of the statutes say. To me, most of these aren't life hacks. There are things you can do to better your chances of being found disabled. Having multiple specialty-based physicians give postdoctorate level reviews of your claim, that's an example of something that would actually work. That's part of the adjudication process, so long as you are severely impaired and they state that. Getting RFCs filled out, residual functional capacity forms. Those things boost your likelihood of being found disabled because they have specific questions that meet up with the 5-step sequential process the elements of disability. And if they write down how you basically meet all those elements, then you can be found disabled more easily because the judge has something to sink his teeth into as to why you are actually impaired. There's other things that by statute help you get found disabled. Compassion allowance listings are one of them. Most of you aren't going to fall into that. If you're just wondering what those are, look up CALs or compassion allowance listings. There's 100% VPAT, 100% disability rating. There's Wounded Warrior, disability rating, or a disability allowance that helps speed up the claim. It also helps the adjudication process. There's, for example, where you're suicidal or homicidal. Suicidal or homicidal individuals get a heightened level of review. It goes faster because the last thing they need is you showing up on the news saying, I tried to get disability, but they took forever, and that's why I killed these people, The other one is that you're homeless. That's another one. That'll get you preferential treatment. I think there's one more. I'm just really tired, so I can't think of it right now. So those are actual ways to speed up the claim, actual ways to prove that you are severely impaired. Other things that help, secrets to, they're not secrets, just part of the process of building a claim, are things such as, for example, objective proof. A lot of you guys don't understand the difference between subjective and objective proof. Subjective proof is you saying that you are severely impaired. Objective proof is a machine that a doctor uses saying that you are severely impaired. So, in that regard, what I mean is that if you have back problems, knee problems, hip problems, if you have neck problems, if you have ankle problems, if you have feet problems, having objective proof, meaning proof that basically is, for example, something that shows you objectively have an inability to function based upon your limitations. So what do I mean by that? So for example, like a wheelchair, walker, cane, crutch, sling, brace, some sort of device that has been prescribed to you in the national economy that allows you to basically ambulate or stand for an extended period or walk farther or whatever. Having surgeries and the surgeries be failures are examples of good things that basically help to show that you are the disabled person that what you claim you are. So let's say that you have 3 failed back surgeries. You're going to actually have a better chance of meeting the disability listing because that's what it talks about for disability listing impairments for, surgeries where they try to fix it and they haven't been able to fix it, and so you're still unable to work. Other things that are really helpful are letters from friends and family, a diary that you can make about your medication side effects, making sure all the forms are filled out quickly and completely, and checking your answers with an attorney to make sure that they're not way out there. Other things that really help with the disability process, your attorney writing an opening statement that's pretty in detail or a brief to explain why you should be found disabled. Most of these disability attorneys don't do that stuff, so they just kind of wing it when they go in there. Every hearing I have has an opening statement / brief that goes in there with it. And it's not just because it helps the judge kind of frame the overall situation. It's because I can't remember everybody's claim. I do so many claims in a week, I do so many claims in a month that I have to have this to bring my brain back to who you are. Because remember, you're really 2 people. There's you and what you say to me, and then there's what the record has. There's you and what you say to me, and there's what the record has. Those are often 2 different people. Very unusual that those are one and the same. You can imagine why. So, are there really any secrets or life hacks to getting disability benefits from the SSA? There were 20 years ago, there's not anymore. And that's just them slowly working their statutes to go ahead and figure out a means to go ahead and basically cut out the easy, quick ways for people to be found disabled. And that's the thing too. A lot of you guys are like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is you don't really want people who are not truly disabled on this program, because then the super fund runs out for the wrong people. And if it's working for the right people, it's working as it's meant to work. But if it's working for the wrong people, and all of a sudden we've got these people that are going, I'm amazing, da, 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 then there's a problem, because the people who genuinely need it can't get access to the resources to be able to survive. Because remember, the whole point of this is that somebody who can't work, who has no money, or is running out of money, or is running out of friends to give them money, is in a situation where, basically, to be honest with you, they are desperate. They're dire need. They are totally and completely in the, not just a difficult position, but a lot of them think about suicide. A lot of them think about how to steal things, how to get basic things. A lot of you guys think, all the people who are applying for disability benefits are just crackheads that need money for blah, 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 blah. They're not. There's a chunk of people. I represent a chunk of people who are trying to get them off of drugs and get them onto the program, get them into housing, get them to be useful again, get them back to a job. But there's a lot of people that don't have that problem. They're applying for disability benefits, much more than just those people who are utilizing illegal substances such as narcotics. Okay. My name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA, an Orlando, Orange County-based Social Security disability law firm. If you have any questions at all, you want the most up-to-date information or anything along those lines, that's fine. Shoot me an email or give me a call, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much.